India has officially notified the Digital Personal Data Protection Rules 2025, the detailed rulebook that explains how the Digital Personal Data Protection Act will actually work in real life. If a company detects a breach, it must inform affected users immediately, inform the Data Protection Board within hours, provide detailed incident updates. Failing to report is a punishable offense. So let's break it down. What these rules say, what organizations must now do, and what rights people finally get over their personal data. The government first released the draft rules in February 2025, invited public comments, reviewed all feedback, and now, through this official Gazette notification, has issued the final version. These rules define how consent must be taken, how notices must be written, how companies must secure your data, how breaches must be reported, how long companies can store your data, how children's and disabled individuals' data must be handled, how cross-border data transfers work, and how organizations will be audited and held accountable. In short, these rules operationalize the DPDP Act in the real world. For the first time, every Indian citizen, called data principal, gets real, enforceable rights over their personal data. Companies must give you easy-to-understand notices, not legal jargon, explaining what data they're collecting, why they're collecting it, how long they'll keep it, how you can withdraw consent, how you can file a complaint. The rules require that withdrawing consent must be as easy as giving it. No more hidden settings. No more complicated menus. If your data is leaked, the company must inform you immediately without delay and explain what happened, what data was affected, what steps you should take, what action the company is taking. This is a huge shift toward transparency. A child's data can only be processed with verifiable parental consent. For persons with disabilities, consent must come from a legally verified guardian. Every person now has the right to access their own data, correct wrong data, delete data when it's no longer required, file a complaint with the company, escalate to the Data Protection Board. This is a major empowerment for ordinary citizens. The new rules place heavy obligations on companies, both public and private. Company systems must implement encryption, access controls, monitoring systems, backup and continuity plans, audit logs. Companies must actively prevent unauthorized access. No excuses. If a company detects a breach, it must inform affected users immediately, inform the Data Protection Board within hours, provide detailed incident updates. Failing to report is a punishable offense. The biggest change: companies must delete personal data once the purpose is complete, unless a law requires them to keep it longer. They must also inform users 48 hours before deleting long inactive data. If a company qualifies as a significant data fiduciary, it must conduct annual data protection impact assessments, conduct annual data protection audits, review algorithmic risks, implement strict cross-border data controls, work with a government-appointed committee on compliance. This is similar to GDPR requirements in Europe but adapted for India. Organizations can offer consent management services, but only if they are Indian companies, meet high financial, technical, and operational standards, build interoperable consent systems, are approved and registered with the Data Protection Board. The board can suspend or cancel registration at any time. Personal data can be sent outside India, but only if the government approves that country or that organization. This creates a controlled, secure framework for global data transfers. For organizations, these rules bring accountability, heavy penalties for violations, and the end of careless data practices. For people, the rules mean transparency, control, and protection in an increasingly digital world. India now has a structured privacy regime that balances innovation with user rights, something the tech ecosystem desperately needed. The Digital Personal Data Protection Rules 2025 mark a new era, one where data is respected, privacy is protected, and both individuals and companies understand their responsibilities. This is the future of digital India: safer, clearer, and more accountable.